You should do a beatbox.
That's not bad, Dan.
Hey guys, my name is Dan Duran, and this is the Tech Lounge. Here we discuss topics related to business technology, and today we're going to talk about the Metaverse.
Nice.
Oh, I have sound effects, but who cares?
Missed opportunity.
Welcome everybody to the show. How to make money in the Metaverse. That's the topic for the day. And this show is going to be a great show because we're going to go into something new. We've been exploring all of this stuff in terms of the virtual world, Bitcoin, crypto, NFTs. Today is Metaverse, right? So it's going to be a really, really good show for you. Just remember, we stream live every Friday at 12 o'clock on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And we're also, of course, on Instagram and Twitter. So now sit back and relax. This is the Tech Lounge. I have with me two very important people, my superheroes. I have Andrew Somerton, the Rock of Rhino. Hello, Andrew, the boss.
Hello, Dan.
What's up,
Hey,
Andrew?
everybody. Hey, Gladstone. Good to be here, guys.
And I also have with me Gladstone Amasepor G Money.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
I tried to do a sound effect in there, but I don't remember
work?
which one.
Didn't
You
it?
didn't see it,
I
man.
have
You
to kind of like reach back to this, and it's just crazy. So special guest today, special persons in the show. So today is a PD day for all the little kids, right? So
Oh, is it?
my
Okay.
my kids are actually watching the show. So big shout out to my kids. They're in there watching the show today for the very first time after a year and a half or 2 years watching
Wow.
the first episode. So hello guys, love
Hi,
you.
guys.
Hey
Daddy
guys.
loves you.
All right.
We're,
All
we're
right,
really
what kind of
excited about this show. Oh, I'm excited about the show because I didn't know much about the meta universe or the last show we did with cryptocurrency and how that works, and then your crypto wallet and all these different
Yes.
things, how they all and the blockchain, how they all merge together now, and then with the meta universe and how you make money and how many meta universes there are. I'm really excited about this show because I'm going to learn a lot as well, and I've done a lot of research myself too, so it's pretty cool, pretty exciting
Yes,
stuff.
this is going to be an awesome show. I got some really good videos. We're going to show you what the metaverse or the metaverses are, the top 10 quick tips or quick facts on metaverse. And then at the very end, so you have to watch the entire show. We're going to show you how to make money. That's what
Nice.
we're here for, right? So, what kind of shout outs do we have on the line, Gladstone?
All right.
Aura.
Aura Rosanna says hello and good afternoon to you, Aura. Nice to see you. Looks like we have we got a new person here. KDL says hi. Hello.
Hey,
Is
KDL.
that
Hello.
okay? That's
Those are my kids. Yeah.
Oh, that's your kids. There you go. Hey,
Yeah,
guys.
very, very cybersecurity oriented, as you can see
I
on
like
their
it. I
names.
like it.
well, they've got a good teacher, I'm sure. Sydney Fotate. Good afternoon, Sydney. Thanks for
Hey,
joining
Sydney.
us. Whoops. Chanzies, he's a regular now. He says,
Yes, I
"Hey
love
guys,
it. Good to see you,
looking
Hello,
forward to
Chanzi.
another
Chanzi.
great show." Thanks,
Always
Chance.
a pleasure to see you.
Absolutely. Great to see you.
Or, yeah.
Gabriella says, "Hello guys, happy Friday." Hey, Gabby.
Hello.
Indeed. Happy Friday to you. And
Sean. Good afternoon, sir. It's sad to say, guys. Actually, Sean is one of our interns.
yes.
He's helping us with our cybersecurity, and today happens to be his last day. So, Sean, thanks again. It was a blast. Hoping we can see you soon, though. But thanks again for joining us.
You will. You will, Gladstone, because the next show we're going to talk about cybersecurity internships.
There you go.
And guess
And
who's going to be on the show?
Oh, that's right.
Sean is going to be on the show.
Sean, is he gonna be on? I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Gladstone.
Sean, you have to bring your
Yes, sir.
guitar, and he's got a really deep voice, and he's, hey guys, how's it going? So he's like,
Gladstone.
That's a radio voice.
Gladstone, do me a favor. Can you bring in up Shangzi's note? It's really important because I want to make sure we pronounce his name correct moving forward. because that's something
Okay.
that's.
Let's see. I think it's this one.
And I appreciate you
By
doing
the
that.
way, G in
Cengiz.
my name
Okay.
sounds like G in
Cengiz.
green.
As in green.
Cengiz. Right?
Cengiz.
Cengiz.
Yeah.
Cengiz.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate that, sir. And
Cengiz.
again, very
Cengiz.
nice having you, and thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Yeah,
Yes,
as you know, Cengiz, we are very ignorant in this show. So
Yes,
our
yes,
sincere
that's not
Speak
apology
for
for
yourself,
always
bro.
mispronouncing your name, Cengiz. That's your name from now on. So sorry about that.
absolutely, and I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. And again, thank you so much for joining us.
Cengiz.
Always.
Right. Sydney. What? Sydney says, "Yay, money! Absolutely, I
Yes.
love money."
Yay, money.
Yes.
Sonia says, "Hey, hey,
Hey.
right back at you."
Hey, guys.
And then your kids are still at it. Wow.
Now,
Okay. Awesome.
Diego says hello, and yeah, much love from everybody. Thanks for all
nice
the
to
great.
see everybody,
you,
guys.
guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You can actually slap. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
How can she slap?
Okay, so I have a couple of videos in here. The first one is Layla. She sent me this video and it was hilarious. So I'm like, you know what? We gotta play this video for you guys. So you'll see. And this is like very
It's NFT already.
yeah. So this is how you can actually see in the metaverse how you can actually get slapped by Will Smith. Okay,
Wow,
so here it is.
Wow.
G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? that was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh,
Wow.
G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it.
That's the first video. So that's the metaverse.
They didn't quite get the swagger of his walk. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but he had a pretty, he had a lot of swagger to his walk when he approached them. They didn't quite capture that.
Yeah.
But anyways, I digress.
It was very close. It was very, very close. Anyway, so if you're wearing your goggles, your Oculus goggles, you'll be able to see that and kind of get slapped by Will Smith, perhaps, right? So a little masochistic in there, but let's go into the next video. And this one is the creepiest video I've seen about the metaverse so far. All right, so let's look at this.
What the heck?
Hey, and welcome.
That's very accurate, actually.
We're going to talk about the metaverse.
He's got a knife.
Starting with the most important experience of all, Sweet Baby Ray's. You're going to be able to bring things from the physical world into the metaverse. I like barbecuing, and I guess I'm a Sweet Baby Ray's fanboy.
New alert. Mark Zuckerberg offers you his Sweet Baby.
Anyways, what do you think about that?
That's crazy.
Well, let's see what the crowd thinks. Your kids are confused, Dan.
I agree.
Yes, okay,
I agree.
yeah.
I'm confused too.
I don't know. I just wanted to show
What
you
in the
some
world?
really creepy stuff because I've seen a few of these videos going around of Mark Zuckerberg doing different things, and you can do that kind of stuff. And
Yes, I agree with you, Beth. That is very weird.
that is just weird. Absolutely.
So,
Let's go to the next one. This one is actually explained. This is from CNET, and they're explaining what the metaverse is.
okay,
Right?
good.
Yeah, I glad some. Okay, so guys, I have a very dark, dry sense of humor. Okay, so for those of you who have the same type of sense of humor as me,
Sweet baby.
by all
Rays.
means, you can put your comments on the chat. All right, so this is CNET explaining what the metaverse is. Okay, it's a good video. It's actually not creepy.
The metaverse is difficult to define. It's usually described as online spaces where people socialize, work, and play as avatars, digital representations of their identities. Unlike a Zoom chat, the spaces don't disappear when you're done. They're there for someone else to use. Though it's often name-checked in the tech world, the metaverse is still a fuzzy idea for people outside the industry.
I mean, the metaverse is clearly a term of great currency in this moment in time. And I think for right now, 2022, the metaverse is a story we are telling about what the future of technical infrastructures might look like when you combine virtual reality, augmented reality, high-speed internet connections, and some kind of notion of a virtual space you might occupy with other people. So an easy answer to the metaverse is, well, it's, the next version of the future of computing. The more complicated answer is, of course, it's a story about how we imagine the world.
And that's an explanation of the metaverse. What do you think about that?
I think it's
Vague.
It's vague. The thing is with it's so cool. And the more information you get, the more you want to learn about it. And because there's so much to understand, and really, when you're first looking at it, I find it's very difficult to comprehend with, again, the blockchain, the crypto wallets, the cryptocurrency, buying property there. Can you go in? Who can you socialize with? But then when you start doing it, you want to start learning more and more. That's why I was really excited about the show, because I know so little. And the more I'm learning about it, the more I'm wanting to learn more about it, which is kind of cool. It's
absolutely. And you know what? I gotta tell you a little secret, guys.
All right.
And this is just between you and me, okay?
The three of
Don't
us?
tell anybody. Okay. So in 2005, I think it was 2005, 2007, I was all into technology and always being, like a nerd when it comes to new things and technology. And the metaverse is not something new, okay? But it is new in terms of the virtual reality, the AR, the mixed reality, and all of that stuff, which I'll explain in a bit. But back in the days, there used to be something called, and it still exists, Second Life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I used to be a fanatic. I used to spend like a lot of time on Second Life. And you could actually buy stuff in Second Life. You can sell stuff. You can create avatars and have parties and stuff like that. So the metaverse is kind of not new to me, at least, because I was already immersed in that type of technology. The only thing that's changing now is that you have crypto that's attached to the metaverse, and then you have the everything that is virtual, right? So the goggles and all of that stuff, which is cool, right? So I don't know if any of you remember Second Life. I do remember because I had friends, and this is, let me give you a little snapshot of what Second Life is. Okay. So this is obviously like a techno party on Second Life.
Yeah. But it's very similar, right? Wow.
It is exactly the same thing, but just without the virtual reality stuff. And I remember that the connections were really bad, right? The internet connection. Try to get into a world like this with DSL, for example. Almost impossible, right? Yeah. I remember those times, man. All right. Any comments out there?
Yeah, I think we got a couple little ones. Just joke ones, more really.
Yeah.
Are you posting any last? No.
IMVU game as well. Yes, absolutely.
Diego says, really?
Well, I mean, everything.
That's probably because of the creepy video.
If
Did I creep everybody out?
If you look at the past, right? I mean, this is just a point taken, and you look at videos and everything else, movies, everything that they've portrayed in the past is just getting better and better and becoming reality, right? So,
absolutely.
This was a test market, let's say, back then when you were a part of that, Dan, and then just advanced with technology for sure.
I don't think how it was a really test market, because
not a test market for it, but it's morphed in.
Millions of people on it.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's other virtual realities out there, or sort of worlds like Roblox, for example, and Minecraft. Right. These are all in complete environments of like you can do so many things in those environments. Is the only problem is that they don't. And I'm not sure if Minecraft is coming out with its own version of the metaverse also, right?
I think that maybe the fundamental difference is with technology advancement that these big corporations now figured a way to monetize it for the average person.
Exactly.
So it's not just a game you go in and play. You can go in and actually be involved by buying, advertising, shopping, all kinds of things, which we're going to get into, I'm sure. But I think
Yeah.
that's the fundamental difference.
So Dan, you're absolutely right. Like, this is not a new concept. I think what's new is the way in which we get into the environments, right? Because
Yes.
I play NBA 2K, which is a basketball video game, and it's been turned into a whole environment. You're not just playing basketball. You can run around and go to the store. You can buy, clothing and all these sorts of things. But with the metaverse and these glasses, it's now becoming more realistic. So it's almost like we're headed towards the Matrix in a sense.
Ah,
Right.
love it. Yes. Oscar had a great question. Can you put that question on the board so we can see? He
Yes,
asked,
sir.
how can we earn money in the metaverse?
Lots of
This is
ways.
exact
That's
show.
what it's about.
This is where you need to be, Oscar, because we're going to talk about how to make money on the metaverse.
But let's
I mean,
be
at the very
very
end,
clear. Let's be
so
very clear
stay
here.
on.
Be very clear.
Disclaimer.
How to make money in the metaverse. There's also how you can lose money. So you can lose a lot of money in it. So you got to be careful, and that's part of this conversation today.
Yeah,
Can you tell Andrew, the father, he made sure to give you a warning before you.
I'm a little more risky, but
That's what's so thrilling about it, because actually what
I'd
they said,
rather spend $100 and try to make $10,000, and if I lose them, that's okay. But yeah,
when
exactly. So don't
when I
go
was
in.
doing research, I'm going to cut you off there, Dan. When I agree with you, and what I'm saying is, and I was doing some of my research, what they say about Meta Universe is like buying real estate in New York 250 years ago. So what's really great about that, the upside is incredible, but you got to be strategic where you buy. The old saying, location, 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 still applies in the Meta Universe in a lot of ways. So just saying, I'm just bringing it out there.
Absolutely.
Very good advice.
I agree with you, but you know what? I missed the boat on Bitcoin. Okay. And I'm like killing myself for that. I missed when I had the chance, because I did have the chance and I was looking into the technology, and I'm like, you know what? I should invest. Never did it. And now look at that. There's just like millionaires and billionaires out there on Bitcoin, and then NFTs, and now the metaverse, right? So like you gotta sometimes take risk. That's how I take it, but calculated risk, and that's the key, right? So we have 10 facts about the metaverse. So after the 10 facts, we'll show a little bit of the metaverse and then how you can actually make money. So stay tuned, and don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Get Cyber, right? YouTube/Get Cyber. Go there, subscribe right now. All right. So
we have a question, Gladstone, I think.
Yeah, before we get to Oscar's question, could we maybe answer Chan's question?
Exactly, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Sure.
Oh, what's going on?
It's coming. It's
What the
coming.
heck?
Technical glitches.
This is why you should use a wired mouse, guys, not a wireless. All right, there we go. So Chanzius asks, do we need those VR glasses for the metaverse all the time?
Not necessarily. You can actually join a few. I mean, there's not only one metaverse, and I have the facts, the 10 facts in there, right? So I'm going to go into that, but it's not necessary to join with the VR glasses and the headset and all of that. You won't have the immerse experience that that other people have, but you can actually see the screen and move around and do things like that, right? So, so it's not necessary. It is absolutely recommended, though.
Yeah,
good question.
Full effect. Yeah.
All right, let's go into fact number 1.
Fact number 1.
Yeah. So the metaverse isn't owned by anyone. People think that Facebook, Meta, owns the metaverse. And that's really far from the truth, right? So they're just one player in the metaverse. This is a competition. They're struggling for supremacy. There's big companies out there that are competing to see who can get the biggest, the meanest metaverse out there with the most critical mass to kind of get an advantage, a first place advantage on the market, right? So there you have a lot of metaverses competing against each other. So it's not just one metaverse either. It's not just one, but it's not owned by Facebook. Number 2. Yes. So Facebook is only developing a few parts of the metaverse, right? So they have the Horizon workrooms where you can go and chillax, you can work, you can do, be in parties and stuff like that. and they also have some of the equipment. So Oculus, for example, which is the goggles and the headset and all the stuff,
Glasses,
right?
yeah.
So Facebook is only providing part of the metaverse, right? And but the key is that Mark Zuckerberg is spending millions and billions of dollars
Billions.
into the metaverse because he sees that this is going to be the future, right? And sorry to say, but Facebook is dying, right? They're losing subscribers like crazy and in momentum in the last few months, right? So I guess it's a good move for him. All right, number 3. Do you want to read it out, Gladson?
Sure. The metaverse may become an $800 billion market by 2024.
Yeah.
Man, that's just right around the
Yes.
corner.
Yep, in a couple of years, and this is the thing, right? So we had Bitcoin and crypto probably 5 years ago when it started to kind of gain momentum and become mainstream, and then last episode we talked about the NFTs, and that was happening probably a couple of years ago until now. It's growing immensely. We are seeing the birth of the metaverse right now. So there's not this omnipresent metaverse, but there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of technology being built around it, and it's just happening right now. So we're in the cusp. If you want to get into it, um, in terms of investing for the future, right? So crypto first, then NFTs, now the metaverse, right? So that's kind of like riding the wave, very beginning of the wave for technology.
And there's some big companies out there spending millions of dollars buying up plots of land in specific metaverses that they are developing. The hope that, to Dan's earlier comment, the hope that they're going to be the metaverse that everybody goes to. And if it does, then it makes their investment worth more and more and more.
Yes. Then fact number 4. All right.
There are banks in the metaverse like JP Morgan and American Express.
Yeah. So imagine you're at home, and instead of calling the bank, instead of going into the website, you actually want to step into the bank. You put on your goggles, right? You get into the metaverse, and then you go to your bank, and there is actually a human being in there talking to you as a teller, and it's just a person at the bank.
Should we before we go on to number 5, should we answer any questions? Because there's a whole bunch I see coming up.
Sure. Okay.
All right. I think there's actually a pretty good comment here from whoops, sorry, not that.
Nice dance moves. There you go. That's a good comment.
Okay, so Digital Fountain Consulting Inc.
Nice.
Concept of metaverse.
Shout out to them, by the way. Thanks for joining, by the way.
So the concept of the metaverse is not new. It's just becoming more mainstream. Now, this space will be the playground for Gen Z. Older folks have no interest in wearing headgear, enough living in the real world.
He's probably not far off there. I'm sure there'll be some adventurous guys and girls, but yeah, I think you're right. I think it's directed more at the young and up-and-coming gamers, etc.
Yeah, like I'm an old folk, right? So I'm
But
thinking
still put
about
them on.
money right now. So how can I retire in a couple of years? My interest on the metaverse is purely financial, right? So I might not spend time in the metaverse, but I want to find ways that I can make money and profit from it, right? So
For sure. And I think we're much more prone, even the older generation, with the advancement of technology over the last 10, 15, 20 years, that we're more prone to adapt to a new change quicker than, let's say my parents who are just getting their flip phones, for example.
Yes.
So I mean, I think that's going to happen, where people are going to become much more familiar and want to get engaged in it. At least try it for sure.
Yes, and what Digital Foundation is saying is completely true. So graphics have a long way to go, and you can see that on the videos of Zuckerberg and the metaverse. They look very cartoony right now, right? But then we have the introduction of 5G, right? So 5G was introduced probably a couple of years ago, and the internet connections have increased quite a bit. So if the technology keeps on growing or accelerating the way it is in terms of computational power on your PCs, and then also on the internet, graphics are going to start getting better and better and better, right? So,
Absolutely.
and
I
that's
think
I guess what the metaverse is betting on.
yeah, for
So
sure.
we have a
Jennifer has
comment
a
here
question
from.
from
Oh,
Jennifer,
sorry.
because I think to Dan. I'll let maybe Dan answer that. He's more educated on that, but I don't think so. I think it's with your crypto wallet. But Dan, you want to answer that?
Yes.
Okay, so Jennifer Lex says, so you'll be able to actually make banking transactions with your real world bank inside the metaverse and it translate into the real world accounts?
100%. It's already happening. JP Morgan and American Express are already doing that. These are beta, of course, trials. But every transaction is done through cryptocurrency.
It's
right?
going to say it's through crypto, not real banking, though. It's like not real tangible money. It's crypto money.
Yes, but not real money. When you say not real money,
I know. Sorry, you're right.
this is real money, right?
You're
So,
right. You're right.
and that's
You're right.
no, but you're completely right. I mean, I'm not trying to diss you or anything like that, but the concept of crypto right now, I think people have not grasped the concept of crypto yet. But crypto is money, like Bitcoin and Ethereum. It is real money because you can always go to a bank and exchange it for real hard cash, right? So, and this is what people are betting on, right? So if you look at all the main investors and the very prominent people that talk about finance, for example, O'Leary. I was just watching a video yesterday. O'Leary was saying how this is going to be in a couple of years, maybe not a couple of years, maybe a little longer, where crypto is going to take over the world. It's going to be one main institution or main foundation or pillar for transactions in the world. So they're really betting on crypto
I still have
to
reservations.
fire
I'm
up
gonna put
and
my
fuel up the
I'm gonna put my hand up for reservations to it, but I mean, I see it going that way. There's no question, but still makes me a little weary.
I'm sure you and all
Yes.
the conspiracy theorists probably share that sentiment.
I'm not
I'm not saying anything more.
All right. Next.
We have a question.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. All right. So Moseyeb, please pardon me. I have a long name as well, so I should know better, but I tried. Did the metaverse have a political issues in your point of view?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. There's although it could be very safe, right? But there it has political implications, and it's not just one metaverse. There's so many out there, and we'll talk about that, right? In the famous, the most, the largest metaverses, but it has religion and political as well as um, really different types of polarization effects on the metaverse as well, right? So and that's a concern. That's also a concern, right? So there needs to be some sort of rules and regulations around the metaverse, but there isn't any
and then who's
rules.
controlling that to the political aspect and
Yeah.
stuff, right? So that's
So
the whole thing.
yeah. So absolutely. So, for example, workrooms, Facebook or Meta workrooms, they just introduced the distancing feature, right? So, for example, before there was a problem that people can get really close to you and touch you and interact with you in ways that you might not be wanting to, right? So they introduced with a click on the mouse on the configuration, you can actually click and then everybody is going to be on a distance, so they won't be able to touch you. So those kind of things, they need to be happening as well, right? So there's a lot of laws and regulations that need to be taken into account in the metaverse. Really good question.
I mean, when you think this is a global movement, right? So obviously politics and political issues are going to be involved in it. There's no question. It's a global movement and it affects the world. So definitely there's going to have political underline and undertones to it.
Yes. So let's go back to the facts, right? So I think we're on fact number 5. All right.
Correct. Number 5. So virtual real estate on Decentraland was sold for $2.4 million.
Yep.
Yeah. Piece of land in the so Decentraland is the largest.
Yeah.
Is the largest metaverse out there right now as we speak. And a plot of land was sold for $2.4 million.
Yeah.
And I think that was the first one, right? And it was a Canadian company that made that first purchase. But since then, there's ones that have gone for way more.
I was going to say there's ones that are more than that too, because now I know I've done my research in this land as well. There's entire streets and different areas that were sold for in the millions of dollars for sure, and they're developing. What's really cool about it is not only do you buy a plot of land, then you have the ability to put whatever you want on that plot of land, which is very, very cool.
Nice.
Very cool. Pardon me, guys. We're talking about all this technology, and I still have a house phone. So sorry about that, guys.
You know what? I still have one too, Gladstone, but it's for our alarm systems and everything else. But yeah,
there you go.
I don't ever answer. I don't know what the number is or anything. I have no idea.
I gave nobody this number, but somehow I get calls all day.
Scammers, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Quick fact number 6.
Number 6. There's an ETF dedicated to the metaverse called Round Hill Ball Metaverse ETF.
All right. So for those of you who don't know what an ETF is basically a stock, right? So it's a combination of stocks that you can buy from and it's traded in the market, right? So like New York Stock Exchange or Toronto Exchange. So there's one ETF that you can actually buy shares from and profit from metaverse related stock in the real world. So this is pretty cool, right? So you can actually invest on the metaverse in the real world on a stock exchange.
Nice.
Number 7.
Number 7. So immersive wearables will become mainstream.
Yeah, and this is really cool. So at the beginning, they started with the goggles, right? So you can, look at stuff in 3D. Then the headphones, of course, so you can listen to whatever sounds and stuff. And now they're playing around with hands, so you can wear gloves and do things like grab and go up this ladder and stuff like that. But the future of the metaverse, what they're predicting is that there's going to be a slew of different types of immersive wearables, right? So clothes, shoes, and that can interact with the virtual world and objects as well, right? So
and then I would imagine maybe AR goggles, something that's on the way as well.
Yeah, so that's called mixed reality, by the way. So you have 3 concepts: the concept of virtual reality, then augmented reality, and then mixed reality. So virtual reality is just the goggles and everything that you see is 3D. Augmented reality is when you, for example, you have your phone and you can project, let's say, a Pokemon Go character on your sofa, right? So that's augmented reality. And then mixed reality is actually the combination of physical objects like the glove and other wearables into the virtual world so it's like a mixed experience, right? So that's where the ball is going in terms of technology, so, which is pretty exciting, man.
Sounds like it. I know I didn't sound like
really.
it.
No, you sound very
sounds like it.
interested.
All right,
Thanks for that. Fact number 8.
Number 8.
Here we go.
The metaverse might be safer than you think.
Yeah, with the introduction of the Facebook or the Meta distancing configuration feature, we're starting to see that technology must play a very fundamental part in terms of security and safety and all of that in the metaverse, right? So, we're seeing that that's started to be applied, right? So, for example, moderation of activity, for example, and kicking people out if they're not abiding by the rules and regulations and things like that. So some people think that like it might be super scary to get into the metaverse, but because it's like the dark web, but it's not really as bad, and it seems that it's getting better in terms of safety. Number 9.
So Epic Games raised $1 billion to accelerate Metaverse's long-term vision. Wow.
Yes.
Great. But it makes sense though, because I think, Epic Games, they created Fortnite, right? So I think they were kind of like they were headed in that direction. So it makes sense that they would do that. Definitely.
Yes.
Sorry, Dan.
And it's not just the Epic Games, but Apple, Google, Facebook, or Meta. They're all spending a lot of money in the metaverse, right? So you see who is the biggest and the meanest and can get that advantage on the marketplace.
Absolutely.
All right. before we go into fact number 10, are there any questions out there?
Oh yes,
A
yes
couple
they
for
are.
sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Let me see here. So we do have a comment here from Diego. Um, so Diego's talking about graphics here. So he says the problem with graphics is that in order to make it accessible for everyone, you cannot have insane resolution. Good point.
Yes, yeah, that's true. A lot of people don't have the equipment or the technology or the computers that you need to get into the metaverse. But
I
you
think it
will
just
have
slows down.
it will slow down definitely, but you don't need goggles to get into the metaverse, right? And so I think there's different facets. It's just like gaming. I mean, if you're in Fortnite and you have a monster computer with like a 1 gigabyte internet connection, obviously your game experience is going to be much better than somebody that's logging in with an older computer, right? So
Exactly. And eventually it's just going to be slowly transition everybody out, the old stuff. It's just like our phones and stuff, right? Every year there's a brand new phone coming out with new technology, and maybe it's just a camera change, but they charge an extra $1,000 for the phone. But eventually they're just going to weigh out all the people who don't have all the top equipment, and it's going to be targeted at just advancement.
eventually what they're going to do is they're going to put a chip on your head,
Well,
right?
Elon Musk
exactly.
is
Your hand is
And
detection, right?
you're automatically going to be in the metaverse.
Yep.
close your eyes. Boom.
and they'll put you in this cocoon, right? And then they'll extract energy from you to power the
They
main.
should make a movie about that, don't you think, Dan?
Yeah, I think
That,
they should make a movie
that
like
would
that.
make a
Yeah,
great trilogy.
it would be really good.
It sounds like something Elon Musk is also working on, but that could be another show. By the way,
Elon Musk bought 9% of Twitter yesterday, and the
Yeah.
Twitter stock skyrocketed. Did you see that on the news? That was
Yeah, it's
a
crazy.
little.
I think there was a
Crazy.
small little company called Avatar. I think that's very similar to the Meta Universe, kind of. I think that they did something like that, didn't they?
Yeah.
To that
yeah, I
point.
think there was a movie about that too. I remember. I think so.
Yeah, I think Matt Damon. It was his biggest movie mistake, because he was, I guess, from my understanding, he was asked to be the main character in that, and he was going to get 10% of the show. And if he didn't, so he didn't take it actually, which I think was what it generated, like what, $2 or $3 or $4 billion or something. So he always says it was his biggest movie blunder. He didn't take that part.
Nice.
That's crazy.
All right. Fact number 10.
Okay.
There we go.
Fact number 10. Okay, the metaverse isn't here just yet.
Still in
Interesting.
development.
Okay, that's
It's a work in progress. So it is just taking off right now. Perfect timing for investing if you're, one of those people like me that like to take risk. And yeah, so all right. So let me just share my screen with you so we can get into kind of like some of the metaverses here, right? So let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah,
I
you
think
can
it's
see it.
already. So this is Decentraland, right? So this is the biggest metaverse or marketplace out there for metaverse. And then we have the Sandbox game.
Sandbox, which is big, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a Sandbox, and then you have Meta Hero. So these are different metaverses that are competing against each other right now, right?
So Dan, question in regards to this. So kind of back to my comment earlier. If I'm going to buy a piece of land, let's say in the meta universe, that hopefully is going to increase in value over time, I'm going to be able to sell it, build on it, have people come, whatever that is. You have to be very strategic on where you buy it. Is that not correct? Because maybe one of these universes won't be, metaverses won't be around in 6 months or a year from now. So you bought that and it's gone.
Yeah.
That's accurate, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for example, when crypto came out, you had different types of cryptocurrency, right? So the one that actually took off was Bitcoin, right? So if you invested in other crypto, you might not do as well as investing on Bitcoin. It's all a game. It's all a race for financial, monopolies, I guess, right? So, and then Ethereum came after, right, which is the second biggest, right? So it's just exactly the same thing. You need to kind of put the eggs on the right baskets, right? Just like any investment, you need to do your homework. You need to look at the popularity, how much is growing, how much investors or companies are investing in the metaverse, and then buy real estate. Right?
Exactly.
So these are some of the. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question. Kind of piggybacking on what Angie was saying. So when I was doing some research into this, I came across a lot of people referring to the metaverse as being infinite, right? But how does that translate into buying property? If it's infinite, how would you make money by buying property if you can have, potentially infinite amount of space, right? Could you
Yeah.
speak to that perhaps?
Yes, absolutely. So it's very similar to Second Life, right? So the hubs, you have hubs that are very popular,
Mhm.
and those hubs are going to have real estate for sale. And that real estate is going to be worth a lot of money. And then you have different places where nobody goes to.
That's right.
So you can probably buy a plot of land for like peanuts on those places, but with the hopes that eventually in the future is going to get really crowded, right? So it's just like buying real estate on the physical world, right? So don't even get me started on how much the housing market is and all of that, but there's urban places inside of the metaverse, right?
Okay.
So, but it is infinite. That means that like land is finite, right? So you can have different plots of land in a physical world, and there's only so much earth where you can put a house. But the metaverse is kind of like completely infinite. So
But
that's true, right?
it's still
For
highly
sure.
traffic locations. Gladstone that defines the value though. So the more popular metaverse, the more people that go there, the more locations they go to. Let's for example, like Rodeo Drive, that you want to go there and see the fancy cars, fancy houses, fancy shops. If that's in the right universe and it's developed properly and you go there, then you can charge an incredible amount of money for rent in those places. If you bought a plot of land and you have a building you put up, what have you, right? But it's a crapshoot right now. Where and which is going to be the ideal place to buy? And there's some big companies like tokens.com is a company that basically helps you buy, but they spent millions of dollars buying some incredible land in certain metaverses,
Yeah.
and put a lot of risk into that. Oh, there it is,
Yeah,
right there,
this is
tokens.com.
tokens.com.
Yeah,
Somebody in the comments said that Lego apparently has a virtual world as well. That's pretty
Oh
cool.
man, I would love to sign up to that metaverse if there is a Lego one. I love Lego. That's kind of like one of my things for sure. That's great. And like the thing about metaverse is might get not really centralized. It might be completely decentralized because it's really targeting what people like, right? So if there's a metaverse about Lego, and you're going to have people that like Lego joining as opposed to one about Minecraft, right? So it might
right.
get like really decentralized with different competitors on the
Yeah,
metaverse as opposed to
yeah. We have
one.
a question that's kind of related to what you're saying from Diego. So he's asking, all those metaverses are somehow connected, or each one is an isolated environment. So I think
Isolated.
this is something I was thinking of. Like, so you can't just like, how you could travel from country to country in the real world? Is that how it works in the meta universe, or do you literally have to log out and then
Log out.
hop
Yeah,
into a
different.
different system?
Yeah, they're all different right
They're
now,
all
but
different, and they're built differently too, right? So that's why they couldn't integrate. Technology is different. The avatars are different. The landscape is different. The real estate's different. Everything's different in them. Some are in the space and outer space, right?
yes, as of right now, they're all
Exactly.
different. But you never know what's going to happen in the future, right?
That's right.
So there might be integration of metaverses out there. We don't know that, right? But yes, they're completely separate right now. As you can see, you have crypto tanks, right, which is completely different from
Hmm.
sandbox, for example. Right. All right. So I have an infographic here on the primer on the next generation of the internet. So this is from Alibaba Cloud, right? So just like Google Cloud and Azure Cloud, they're selling all the technology for getting in for developers to get into the metaverse and start doing things, right? So um, we have holographic construction and holographic simulations, as well as virtual reality integration, and the entire movement of the cloud, speeds and security and all of that. That's pretty crazy, right? Any questions out there? I'm going to get into how to make
There's
money.
we have quite a few actually. There's Digital Fountain have placed two or three different things, or three or four different things. They've said. Um, any
They're
Gladstone?
more they're comments, not
Are there more
necessarily
comments?
questions.
Okay, I don't know if
Yeah.
there's any comments that should be added or.
Okay, so this Chance Ease asked, will the goods purchased on Metaverse be crypto goods?
Yes, yes, 100%. So there's each metaverse has its own currency, right? So we have mana for decentralized, right? So Decentraland, and then other types of currency, and those are converted into crypto, right? So when you sell stuff in the metaverse, so a pair of shoes, for example, or whatever services you're doing, advertising, then that gets converted into crypto, right? So it is crypto goods. So NFTs, because we had a show on NFTs last week, are going to be crucial in
Very
the
much.
metaverse as
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah.
So very, very good question.
You know what I'm excited about? You know how we have really popular brands here like Nike, Adidas, like
Yep.
all the different big brands. I wonder if there's ever going to be there will be a brand created in the metaverse that will come to the real world. You know what I mean? Like you don't see it in the real world, but you see it everywhere in the metaverse, and then all of a sudden someone will bring that brand into the real world. So vice
I'm
versa.
sure that will happen. And actually, Nike, I believe, has already done something like that where you can't just have their NFTs
Yes.
online. So they're ahead of the game as well.
So this website is from the good guys on Sensorium, right? So just to give them kudos for this really great article. So how to make money in the metaverse. That was the first thing, right? So Changiz, you're talking about crypto goods, creating NFTs. That's one of the best, selling parts about the metaverse. You can actually create NFTs and sell them inside of the metaverse, right? Then you were talking, Andrew, about real estate.
That's
So
right.
buying patches of land, especially in urbanized areas or areas with a lot of growth potential.
You know,
Right?
I was watching Dan one of these things when I was investigating it too, and they were talking about this. And they could imagine the Monopoly board in real life, and you know how you go around, you buy it, and then the more times or the more houses or whatever you put on it, or the more people that go buy it, they have to pay you money. So that's kind of what it's like in the meta universe. So it's actually designed like a Monopoly board. Let's say you buy pieces, and then the more people that can go there, the more you can potentially charge or eventually get for your property.
Yeah. So, and that's exactly it. It's just like an urban area. So imagine Adidas. We're talking about Adidas. Let's say Adidas has a shop or some sort of real estate inside of an urban area. How cool would it be for a person to own a little plot of land right beside Adidas to sell paraphernalia or some sort of sports stuff or whatever, for the people that are checking out Adidas? They want to see your shop. So it's location, location, location. It's exactly the same as the real world, right? So the key is to have plots of land to do something around and look at the land around you and what are the big fish inside of that on that urban area inside of that metaverse.
So Dan, you know what's really popular here? A question for you, and maybe you know this. I haven't researched this enough, but could you go to these companies or whoever sells plots of land or in the metaverse, and you buy little, let's say, billboards or like a 2 foot square block on the sidewalks, or 10 by 10 squares in the sky, and then you buy 100 of them because it's wasted space right now. But if it becomes a popular area, then you could sell those blocks or rent those blocks to advertisers, where it could be like a Nike advertisement could go on it. And you know what I mean? Like, so you could have hundreds of little squares among these really popular areas, and then you could sell them to real advertisers for the people that are actually visiting them.
You mean like this?
Basically, yeah, there you
Yes.
go.
There you go. Same wavelength. So
Yeah, and this is already happening in the 2D sphere. Like I told you, I play, PlayStation NBA 2K, but they have advertising all over through the environment as well, and it's real, and it's actual products you can buy in the physical
world, right? Yeah.
Wherever people will go,
advertisers will be there.
Advertising will follow. Absolutely.
Exactly.
So you can see here, for example, okay, so advertising on the metaverse, right? Just like, and it looks cooler than the real life.
Andrew, it's pretty much like product placement in movies and television.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Those damn advertisers.
But the thing is, you have to have the place to put it. So if someone has all the land or the buildings, they own it. So they can't, you know what I mean? So I was thinking, as if you bought little squares that are just open air spaces, and then you could resell those or release those later on, because these are actually attached to people who own these buildings, etc.
I remember back in the days, there was this picture, right? And there was this artist selling pixels on that picture. I don't know if you guys remember. This is like 10 going 10 years back. there was this picture that somebody made, a company, I think it was a company or an artist, and they were selling each pixel on that image, and they were able to sell the entire picture for
Wow.
2 different people. So I guess you could buy pixels in the metaverse as
That's
well.
what I'm wondering.
Right?
Like little pieces.
Tiny plots, because Andrew, you are a lord, right? You're a lord. Why don't you tell the audience why you're a lord?
That's true.
Lord Summerton.
So my kids last 2 Christmases ago, as I'm sure everybody has seen on social media, you could buy a little plot of land. I think it's a foot square, some swampland probably in Switzerland. I mean in Scotland. Yeah, Scotland. And so it made me a lord. Actually, I have their certificate right here. I'll show it to you guys. Here you go. So there it is. And so yeah, so they bought me a little plot of land to call me a lord. So.
Square foot.
Exactly.
Are you going to put a very tall building on the?
Exactly, very tall and narrow. I got to lose some weight to get into it.
All right, you can actually profit in the metaverse by doing fashion, right? So building, creating, crafting gear, like this lady over here. This is very similar to Second Life, because I remember people making fashion and all kinds of stuff and this is going back like 10, 15 years ago, right? So you could be able to do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Changiz is saying something in there.
Same thing as what I was saying about the Monopoly game. Exactly.
Yeah. So the Monopoly game was a physical version of Decentraland, but with real money in crypto format. Exactly. Absolutely.
In virtual format, yep. You can put on the goggles, and then that would be cool to have a Monopoly game with your virtual. It probably exists already.
You know what? If you haven't done this, guys, part of my research for coming into this show is I actually went to YouTube and I just Googled like metaverse and videos, and you can watch somebody like in there for like a couple of days or in their vision. Just if you've never done it and you can experience it, they've done videos about it. And I watched one that this guy lived in there for 100 days. I don't know how accurate it was or not, but it was kind of cool to watch. It's very informative. It's fun to do. Lord Summer, thank you very much for my Lord Summerton. I just saw it.
But Dan, you're talking about mixed reality, and I was wondering if, like, say for instance, you're a real estate agent. Would this be a way to actually show people places, like you create a virtual version of an apartment or a house that someone's going to move into?
It already exists, right?
Yeah,
so
like
that's funny you say that, because the real estate industry has become this very immersive environment where you can actually do 3D views of houses, inside of houses, when real estate agents are selling them. Maybe it's going to be the same thing, like
I knew they did that in video form. Like you could see like a 3D video of the place, but now you can actually go into the metaverse and see your new house potentially before you buy it.
There's two real estate agents in California actually that are very big in that right now, and they're actually buying and selling property in the metaverse universe, doing that exactly.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, I'm a real estate agent working in the metaverse alone. I don't work in the physical world, and my job is to show houses that are built in the metaverse, that are virtual, to people that want to buy them.
No, but I mean like real houses. So let's say you live in Toronto, but you're going to buy a house in California. Maybe you're busy, you don't have the time to actually go see it in reality, but maybe you could take a tour virtually, right?
Yeah, well, you already are able to do that.
You can do that, yeah.
But the only difference is that you're going to have to wear the goggles and kind of like touch things if you have gloves and stuff like that, right? So yeah, absolutely possible. But I'm just going farther. I'm going like right inside of the metaverse, selling houses.
You would have to have that same house duplicated in the metaverse, right? And then you'd have to be able to go to it, and then you could go and visit in the metaverse for sure. But it would have to be purchased in the metaverse, created in the metaverse, and then shown in the metaverse, right? That's the only challenge with that. But could it be done? For sure.
We got some comments. Kevin, I think he posted a comment in there.
Which one? Do you want to post that one? So
yeah, Kevin says, true, I like the idea or that concept, right?
Okay.
And what is the one that you posted from?
That was from Sean. He said, a metaverse of MC Escher's painting would be really amazing and confusing at the same time.
Sorry, I'm ignorant. Who is
I have to do some. I have to do some research on that myself.
That's
Google it.
art. We're talking art history here.
John's
All
a
right.
very smart guy, though. So which go? Yeah, I've got to. I have to read. I have to research who that is. MC. There we go.
All right. So education. So you can profit from actually training and doing education for people, tutorials and courses inside of the metaverse. So you're in kind of like a classroom environment with your goggles, and you're looking at the teacher, and you can have people in the metaverse. I think that's much better than just doing Zoom calls.
Absolutely.
Right?
So I have a
Hmm.
question, Dan. If I go to the, I also now the metaverse is happening, and I decide I'm going to go to California. I'm going to visit, let's say, and I put my goggles on. I'm in there. I'm my avatar, etc. And I meet somebody in there, Joe. And how do I can reconnect with Joe at a later date? Will I see him again? Is everybody random? Or like, is there coding systems that you go in and you can say, hey Joe, are you there? And then he'll connect with me. Like, is it a friend scenario like Facebook? Or how does that work? Or is everybody just random?
Yeah. So basically, the way it works is the metaverse is it really depends on the metaverse though, but it is completely private. So you can create your own avatar, name it whatever you want to name it, and make it look whatever you want to make it look. So it is not you, right? Now, if you're connect to people, and then you can make them friends or connections,
Oh, okay,
just like
okay.
LinkedIn, for example, or Facebook or whatever. You can have connections in there, and then you can expose yourself a little more and say, hey, like Charlie or Andrew, this is Dan, I'm the real person behind it, and then make a connect like a physical connection with those people, right?
Okay.
So
So if I have like a house, let's say for example, I have my own house in the metaverse and I want to invite all my friends to come and have a house party. Some random person can't come in. I have to physically invite them to come into my house party. Is that correct?
exactly.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
Cool.
So thank you so much, Miguel Delgado, for pinpointing who Etcher is. He's an
That's so
artist who
great.
play with perspective to create scenarios, right? So
Nice. Thank you, Miguel.
amazing. I feel like such a ignorant person right now. Yes. Okay, in the metaverse, you can create businesses, right? So you can see H&M here having a clothing store, right? And it looks beautiful, right? Who wouldn't want to shop on that store, right? Yeah.
So when you go in there and you shop, Dan, do you only buy the clothes for your avatar, or can you
Yeah,
can you go in and buy something and have a real shirt sent to you in the real world, or
sure.
is it totally metaverse?
You can
I think,
give it to anybody, right? Like you can buy it for
oh,
yourself.
so I
You
think,
buy it.
Andrew, maybe you're thinking what I'm thinking. Like, so if you're lazy and you don't want to go out to the store, could you just
Exactly.
go in the metaverse, try on your shirt
Yeah.
digitally, and then Amazon will ship it over to you in real life?
Yeah.
Wow.
Can that happen? That's exactly what I'm thinking.
My brain just exploded, Gladstone, because you know what? My wife, just a little secret again between us
We
squirrels.
won't tell anyone.
Don't say anything. Say
My
quiet. I'm
wife
listening.
buys everything from Amazon, Costco, Walmart, wherever there's a store, she will buy it online. So she never steps foot on the stores right now
So
for
she's
about
saving
2
you all
years.
kinds of gas money, which she's
Since,
saving both.
yeah, since COVID started, she has not stepped foot on. She does not step foot on the shops, on the stores, and we
Really?
get everything delivered
Delivered.
to us. Right, even skip the dishes and
Yeah,
Oh
for
my
sure.
goodness,
everything.
dude! If I knew how much I spent on Skip, I'd probably kill myself. I don't want to
But
know. I'm
this is
glad they
this.
don't have the feature that would show you what you've spent in a duration. Because that's
I
crazy.
think
Yeah.
I think this goes back to the political question we had way at the very beginning. Because in all fairness, if they're trying to change our
Hmm.
methodology and the way we think as
Hmm.
human beings and our behavioral
Oh,
habits, then this could actually work to that advantage. Because if you don't want to go out, let's say you live in Canada and you're in a snowstorm, you don't want to go out, but you need something desperately, and you can go in and
yeah.
physically see it. Because I know they have those goggles. Google did a really good job with the goggles, or I think it was Apple, and you go in and you could someone could shop for you and to see it on your phone, and now you can this same kind of thing, but now you can physically
Right.
go in and do it yourself.
Yeah. And in the times we're in, it's just I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but it's just weird. Anyways,
You
I'm
are.
gonna leave it at that.
You are.
I know you've
I'm
said that a
just
couple
saying
times this show.
the
I'm a little worried about
coincidence
you,
of it
Gladstone. I'm
all.
not sure.
We have this pandemic, and now, anyways, I'll leave it at that. You guys can
Yeah,
connect the
exactly.
dots.
We have let's stay on the fence here. We're not on either side.
Yeah, you can make money from gaming. So
Yeah.
imagine being in a game that has a game. So, if the metaverse is kind of like a game, then there's a game inside of the game, and you can be a game player. I don't know.
Yeah, I did see that actually.
It's like
And
the Russian doll thing.
travel and tourism.
There you
Interesting.
go.
So how do you like there are certain things that you can do in the metaverse, right? So taking a plane, for example, right? So you're going to be automatically from one. You can go from one place to the other automatically. You don't need a plane. So
But maybe there'll be like
But what if you want to, anyways? Like,
or maybe there's like a passport. So meaning like a passport to be travel. So maybe to go into another country, you need to pay $5 entry fee, let's say. So now for tourism, I don't know. I'm just talking out loud, but
yes,
maybe there are going to be some,
talking
some
about
things like that.
talking about passport. What if you need a vaccine passport for viruses and malware?
oh man. So you have to prove you have no viruses in order to come into this
Into the meta.
man.
Well,
That was a joke.
But you
just
know
call,
there's gonna be
just
crime,
call
right?
Rhino. Just call Rhino. We'll check to see if you have any problems with your system.
Yeah, I mean, there is already a lot of crime happening in games, for example.
For sure.
Like on the hackers on the Fortnite, for example, and Call of Duty that are doing pretty bad stuff and getting
Right.
profit from it. So
I'm
I'm
curious,
pretty
what
sure
sort
that
of
there is
crime-
going to be that kind of stuff in the metaverses.
Kevin just
Dan,
put the answer in.
sorry, Andrew, go ahead then.
As I say, Kevin put an answer in for it's true for tourism. So Kevin put up
Yeah,
Kevin's
the
comment.
virtual tours. Kevin Pham. So he says there's virtual tours,
Which
absolutely.
makes sense, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
Definitely.
just out of curiosity, Dan, what sort of crimes would one do on, say, Call of Duty? Like, not that we're
cheats.
advocating it.
Cheats. So you have a roster of people that are on the top elite. So you can cheat. You can actually play the system to be able to see people that are behind walls and things like that, and then just aim at them and kill them right when they appear. And those cheats, they're very frowned upon, right? So if somebody catches you doing that, then they kick you out, right?
So it's not anything illegal like in the real world. It's just kind of.
It is not illegal in the real world, exactly. But then
like
there's Minecraft where you can profit, like really profit from doing scams, right? So and that one is illegal. So you can actually making money out of it, right?
Guys, just for the sake of our audience, and also we're 2 minutes over because this is such a fun topic and we can keep going, but I just want to make sure everybody knows that
yes. So
what the time is.
The last two, event and promotion and hosting, right? So, this is so cool for industry, right? So if you have, we're going to go to the manufacturers show coming up in a couple of months, all right, Andrew? So imagine having an event and promotion and hosting trade shows and conferences and things like that. You can profit from having a booth stand in the metaverse. Right, so you can throw events and galas and
that's going to save a lot on travel. Like these corporations, if you can have a virtual booth and everybody goes to it virtually eventually, like imagine how much tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars are spent on trade show booths. You could have to go over to Europe, you have to go across the country, your team has to fly there, you have to get all your equipment shipped, etc. You don't have to do that anymore with this, right? So a lot of savings.
Yeah, you can test products, right? Metaverse products. And the last one is, of course, labor. Just like in the physical world, you can be a taxi driver, or you can be, like a hostess or a waiter and do actual physical labor on the metaverse. That's pretty cool too, right?
Huh.
Wow.
Sean asked a question in there. Let me put it, or you put it on the screen. Is there a dark web version of the metaverse? You know what, Sean? I have no idea.
I don't know either.
But I'm going to look for that. I'm going to see if there is actually a.
Careful, Dan. Careful.
You never know what kind of things I'm going to find in the metaverse. All right, guys. Oh my God, we went over by 4 minutes. Crazy how time flies. It was a great show. Next week we're going to be talking about internships. So cybersecurity internships, and Sean Davison is going to be with us as a guest. So I can't wait to see you guys. Thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. So YouTube/GetCyber. Go there right now, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Guys.
Thank you. Shout out to everybody.
Absolutely.
Oh, wrong song. Okay. All right. What kind of salutes do we have? Yet another informative show. Thank you for the content, gentleman, says Sean. See ya, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Sydney.
I hope you don't get sued.
So that song is like part of a TV show.
Sorry, guys. I got the wrong song.
Wrong song. We apologize. Let's make a deal. No, let's make a deal. Price is right.
Oh, man. Thank you so much for joining us. That was hilarious. Wrong song. Thank you, guys. Love you.